Uh, Hello. This is the Colorado media team interviewing star running back and DB Joshua Dickson. Joshua Dickson, how's your day been?
Great, great, sir. Great. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. How's your day?
No problem. No problem. Mine's been great. I mean, you've been. Well, what are you now? Junior, sophomore?
Yeah, junior.
You've been playing amazing DBI. You have zero catches allowed. You have like 8 interceptions. I mean, you're tied for the leading interceptions in college football history. I mean, you're going to be defensive back of the year, obviously, but offensively, I mean, what are your plans? Because I haven't seen you do much offensively.
As well as you address me as a running back, I am an athlete, so I play all around the field. Um, but to be honest, I plan on more like helping my quarterback, like limit his interception rate and stuff like that. Just being on my teammates when they need me, and I'll play anywhere on the field if it helps the team. And I don't really care too much about receptions or touchdowns. A lot of people, like, as the league, label me as a TD machine, but like, to be honest, it's just I'm just trying to get my guys open majority of the time. I'm worried about them, because they deserve to win more than I do, and the whole team deserves to win. It's not really a self, goal in mind. It's just the team.
Good answer. Great answer. Great answer. So speaking of your your quarterback's interception rate, I mean, first half, not even first half, just the first 3 games you guys played, your quarterback, I mean, for lack of better words, was just playing terribly, horrible even. So, but he turned it around in Notre Dame. So, what did you guys train to make that different?
Really, first we did recruit new guys, so we had new guys come in the team, and if we feel like they fit the scheme, they fit the scheme. Um, really in practice, like I always say, and like I've been saying, iron sharpens iron. Like I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't have become the best DB in the league without uh, you know, Amari Williams and a lot of other guys, but I go toe to toe with Amari Williams every practice, and I gotta say, he gives me a challenge at receiver. I give him a challenge at DB. So iron sharpens iron. Zero catches on me all season. So we really just try to exploit our potential with each other. So iron sharpens iron.
Great answer. I mean, seeing just how much you brought up not Ryan, Amari Williams in that. Why don't you guys throw him the ball? I mean, he just seems to be open on it pretty much every play. I just see him just standing there. I just see him just standing there, sad,
You
not getting the
know,
ball.
Amari. Amari is a great teammate of mine. I really do love Amari. That's my brother. But I can't really speak for our quarterback, but there's been times where I have, seen him open a lot, and it could have changed the outcome of many games. Like majority of the games, we could have blew him out by like 50. So it could have changed the outcome. We could have scored more, and he could have got more stats on his sheet, because right now it's looking a little dry. And more than anybody, I feel like Amari deserves to be in the spotlight like he was earlier this season with being a DN and stuff like that.
Great answer. So, speaking of the ends, you guys seem to be having a little bit of a misfit with your defensive end situation. That one game, your linebacker is lining up at defensive end. One of your DBs lined up at defensive end. I mean, even your safety was getting into that box. I mean, like, what were you guys planning for? Because, I mean, they ran the ball up, like, what, 5 times that game? What were you guys even planning for?
Yeah. We have a long history of blitzing and sending a lot of rushers. So we would try to switch it up a little bit, because if a team had their receiver inside the box, we try to put like a safety in to rush, have one of the DMs drop back on them, just to kind of switch up the blockers. Majority when we send people in is to confuse the blockers. As coach will like make us. We work on that a lot. We also work on when the quarterback rolls out, how to strip down the LOS and get the tackle. Like, coach has us doing some crazy stuff, man. But yeah, I feel like we're just switching up a lot of our defensive ends based on who got the job done, who can rush the best, and stuff like that. But I feel like Amari has been doing the best job out of everybody so far.
Great, great. Travis, shut your bitch ass up. Sorry, this bum from our media team just likes to keep talking. Shut up. But anyways, so basically, I like your guys' defensive situation, especially the secondary. I mean, what your defense basically has no catches allowed. You guys might have, on one hand, that many catches allowed on you guys. But offensively, I mean, whether it be turnovers, not converting on the third down, just not scoring when needed to. I mean, like, what's your guys' issue there?
I have to say, I'd have to say it's the pressure on our quarterback. Travis is still he just got done with his freshman season, still a sophomore. He's still a young guy, still trying to grow and produce excellent talent. So when it's pressure on those third downs and we're in the red zone, and I gotta say, as much as coach would, tell us that it's not, but our red zone offense is terrible. Like it gets to a point to where none of us will be open. But I think the pressure is on Travis the most because he's still a young guy and he's not experienced when it comes to all these veteran defensive ends rushing him in his face 24/7, and he has to get the pass off. Because if he throws an incomplete pass, the whole team is on him, and it's like so I feel like it's the pressure.
I mean, I've seen other quarterbacks perform during those situations. I mean, just speaking of quarterbacks, your quarterback room is one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you guys will throw. You might throw a 70-yard catch, but you'll fail to throw a 5-yard conversion. I mean, like what's going on there? You guys just, what's are you? Is it the pressure? I mean, for Travis, I mean, his starting spot has basically never been taken. He has two He averages 2 picks a game. So, and the only game I saw him not playing was basically a blowout game, and even the QB2 didn't even play that well. So, I mean, what's happening? Are you guys just not a great passing
um,
offense?
I feel like coach was trying to experiment a little bit. He came up to me and was telling me like, we may see big changes the week coming up against Clemson. So the day before, I texted our starting quarterback, and I was basically wondering how he was handling the situation. Well, he said he'll put it all in the hands of God, and hopefully he gets his PT. The quarterback that started was a new kid named Bucky. Bucky, he's a cool kid. Also iron sharpens iron with him. He helped me a lot, but he didn't perform as great as Travis did. And now, like statistically proven, Travis has not thrown a pick since I think it was about 2 games since Travis thrown a pick. So so he didn't perform as great as Travis did, but he did not perform. It was like a mediocre type level. So I think coach was just trying to see because obviously we knew we were going to win, but I think coach was just experimenting with our QB room a little bit. Putting the backup in first and then letting Travis come out the second half. And at one point in time, we were down. So that says a lot. So maybe coach needed to chill with the experiments.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, but I wouldn't be too impressed against Clemson seeing the first time around the game basically had to get redone. I don't know, maybe somebody was using PEDs, some of the ref was illegal, some of the sorts. And you guys first blew them out 28-0. It almost seemed like you paid them to lose or something like that. And the second game, I mean, it was a much, much closer game. I mean, it ended up stop being so close, but the first half, or even the third quarter, was so close. I mean, it's like, could Travis's spot even get taken through that? Because the kid who basically should have played the entire game didn't, even though that was basically a guaranteed win. I mean, I don't know. Like, what was your guys' game plan going through that?
Mm, you know, uh, I feel like what you said is like a potential, maybe a kind of, you know, we're not. Well, I can't speak for we, but the team. like us as brothers and teammates, we would not like Travis to be replaced. We have a lot of chemistry with him, and as coach see it, like I don't think Travis is getting replaced. But you know, the kid who should have started didn't start, and it happens sometimes. I know you see the story of the underdog. Travis wasn't the underdog in that case, but he just didn't start. So I don't really know too much about that. You got to talk like a little bit to coach maybe because like he makes the decisions with the lineup.
I mean, I understand that, but just from your own opinion, would you think this is some sort of like nepotism, seeing how you're doing pretty well, Malik's doing pretty well, and your father? I mean, probably has some influence over. So he doesn't want you guys to transfer out just because your younger brother isn't playing. Do you think that's some sort of nepotism right there? Extra chance for Travis, even though he's averaging 2 picks a game. I mean, going back to your last point, I mean, you were impressed by him not throwing a pick in 2 games. I mean, most quarterbacks only throw 2 picks a season. So I don't know.
Yeah. You know, so like basically, are you trying to say like, is there a favoritism going around?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, you know, I have never been, me and my brothers, I have never been the one to talk about this, but like I promise you Malik is the more cocky one than me. But I hate to say it, but we really come from greatness. And you know, and a lot of people think we were just some kids who were just naturally, we naturally had the talent. No, we all started from a young age. Truth is, Travis, he did not always play football, and he started off with soccer and stuff. Like as a kid, me and Malik would we would literally make jokes about him. We used to talk about him being a soccer mom and stuff. 'Cause, he had the weird little haircut. He was playing soccer and stuff. So, um, when he got to high school with me, I was already in the 10th grade. He was in the ninth. So, he was a kicker. So he didn't really, he didn't know the basics to football. Sure, he was introduced to it early. Our father, being some legendary guy he is, our father was always, introducing us to new play styles, new playbooks, and we weren't even, in high school yet, and we were still learning about cover two, cover zero, and things like that. So Travis, more than anybody, Travis is gifted with identifying coverages. That's why when he was in ninth grade, he made the switch to QB. Now, how did he get his arm? I really don't know how he got his arm, but Travis didn't. He never used to work out with me and Malik, my father, my grandfather. He never did that. He was more of a mama's boy. He used to always chill with his mom and stuff like that because his mom supported him through anything. You know, but it's not to down talk my brother, but to say like favoritism, it couldn't be favoritism because we were just we I feel like we fought hard enough to get to this spot. We worked harder, we slept harder, we ate harder. We did everything better than majority of the people who are on the team. So I'm not trying to, down talk anybody, but you know, I'm just being real.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely believe that somewhat, I should say. But I just hope the other gets a chance of playing. But anyway, so last at the beginning of the season, you made a couple player comparisons. You called. I'm pretty sure you called Josiah Kirk. A little bit of Calvin Johnson or some of the stories. Jay Smith. I don't even know what you called him. Amari
Jay,
Williams, like Jay Jettas. You call. I mean, how would you update the player comparisons now, seeing how people are playing?
like, dude, coach always makes comparisons to players when it comes to us. Coach, we have a very strong connection with coach. He's kind of like some of our father figures. Some of us grew up without any fathers. But as I look at it, like, man, Jay, bro, when he came to the team, he was he was beefy, bro. Like Jay was strong. And I was lucky scared for my spot. I'm thinking he played running back, but he was a receiver, So like Jay, what I compare him to, like, you know, some elite receivers in the NFL. Like, sure, like there's like Jamar Chase and this and that, but like Jay's elite. So I'd have to compare him to like a DK Metcalf type of guy. Like he's very physical. He's a big dude. He's fast off the line. And he can back up any trash talk he does. I'd say like a DK Metcalf or maybe even like one of the younger rookies that they have now. Like
Marvin
Malik
Harrison
Neighbors.
Jr.
You know, yeah, like a Marvin Harrison Jr. Because Jay's cousin Jeremiah is killing the game at Ohio State. So
You know,
I do want to
how
shout out
about
them.
because I asked your coach for comparison? How about I just say who I think people are, and you just tell me if you agree or not. All right.
Okay, okay.
So I mean, starting off Josiah Kirk, I'd say he's a little bit of an Antonio Brown. What's the other guy? George Pickens. I mean, he's talented. He's extremely talented, but he lets his emotions get the better of him. I mean, he'll like storm out onto the sidelines, things like that. If you agree, yes or no.
Yeah, yeah, I see that AB in him.
I say Malik Dixon. I mean, if you need a catch, if you need a comeback, I mean, he's got it. But he'll never really go for the jump ball. He could, but he doesn't do it that often. I mean, but if you just need a quick route to get open, that's your man right there. So I give him a little bit of a Devontae Smith type guy. Yes,
Um,
no.
yeah, 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 yeah. I was thinking a little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Travis. I mean, he's a gunslinger. I'll tell you that one. He might throw it deep. He might throw a pick. Really, I mean, he's a little bit of he's kind of a Will Levis kind of mix. Will Levis mixed with kind of like maybe Patrick Mahomes, just like the mix between us two. I mean, I could say maybe like a Sam Darnold. Um, not Matthews. No, no, never that. Sam Darnold. Yeah, I can see Sam Darnold. Maybe an older Kirk Cousins. But yes, no.
Yeah, yeah. Well, uh, you know, uh, Kirk Cousins. I see the Kirk Cousins, and yeah, I see the Kirk Cousins.
All right. Who's next on the roster? I say for you, defensive back wise, I could give you a Patrick Surtain too for sure. I mean,
I like
Patrick
that.
Surtain's stats. I mean, he's like throwing it into the ground to give you a better QB rating than throwing it
Yeah,
away.
like I really do craft my game after some older guys like that.
But running back wise, I mean, I could give you more like in Aaron Jones, maybe Nick Chubb. I mean, you're a running back, but you're not the greatest to ever do it. I mean, you're certainly not the
Yeah.
greatest to ever do it. Let's see. I mean, Amari Williams, I could definitely see for him. I mean, he's open, but I mean, is he getting the ball? Not really. I give him. I can't even name a wide receiver. I give him just a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2 kind of prospect.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Zion. I mean, he, just trying to think here. I mean, think with me. I mean, I don't even
You
know. I
know,
mean,
Zion, you know, my coach literally like like first of all, when I first met Zion, it was through a camp in high school. But Zion, I compare him to like, I compare him to like a Zay Flowers, very shifty kid. He can move around and he's low key good at catching, but he shows flashes of greatness, but hasn't really contributed to being a great player yet. But like we know he's a great player, but the league doesn't know. So once he shocks the league, it's crazy. So I'll give him that Zay Flowers type of comparison.
yeah. I mean, I'll agree with you on that one. I'd say that the Burke is that his name Burke? That guy. I'll give him. He's a rookie quarterback. He only played once. I mean, in his performance, I could see gosh, who's that one kid that went to the Broncos this year? Who is it? Who is it? Who
Trying to
went to
think.
the Denver Broncos?
Wait, who'd you say?
Who went to the Denver Broncos? The rookie
No, no, no,
quarterback.
no. On the team, Bo Nix. Bo Nix. It was Bo
Bo
Nix.
Nix, yes, I can see a little bit of a Bo Nix. I mean, I can definitely see the talent. You know, he's definitely one of the better rookie quarterbacks. Definitely one of the better freshman quarterbacks this year. But I mean, is he one of the? Is he the best? No. Is
That's
he?
the
Is
real
he?
question.
Is he pretty great? Is he pretty good? Yeah, I give him
That's the
that
real
one. He's
question. You know.
pretty accurate. Maybe even a little bit of a Jackson Dart in there. He can definitely throw
You know.
that ball deep.
Okay.
I mean, who's even on your team? I mean, that's all I
We
could think.
got another new transfer, Mike. Um, he's shown that he could compete, but he hasn't really, contributed much. He got a few touchdowns, a couple yards. I'd say, dang, that's a hard one. Comparing Mike to an NFL receiver is kind of risky. He just transferred from a FCS school, so
I
you
mean,
know,
let's start away from that because I mean, last year, I mean, he wasn't even on your team, so I mean, he could not to put any pressure on you, but he could hit the transfer portal any time, any day. So don't compliment him just yet. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to the next question. All right.
hmm
So I mean, if the playoffs were to be today, you guys would be in it. I mean, but you'd barely clinch it. I mean, what's your record right now? Like you're 3-2, 2-2, 1-2.
three and
What do
two,
you guys are?
3-2, 3-2.
So I mean, those first two losses were definitely tough, but you've gotten some wins back. That is pretty astounding. But your competition is only getting steeper. I mean, you guys looking at your run, you guys have one of the hardest playoff runs. I mean, you guys are going like you're going. I think your schedule is like Ohio State and then Ole Miss. I mean, two of the best teams
Actually,
in the league.
if we were to play today, they put the contenders out, so we would play Notre Dame, and then it'd be Ole Miss. Ole Miss get the bye. So that's why Coach wanted us to prepare for the Ole Miss game. He's not. I don't think Coach is trying to be cocky much, but he believes that he believes that we could beat Notre Dame a second time. So going into our next game against Ole Miss, he wants us to understand how they play, understand how things work, because when the playoffs counts, that's when it matters. So I feel like coach is really preparing us for that game coming up, with going against our foes that we face in the playoffs.
I mean, I only got a couple more questions for you. So on to the next one, I should say, huh? uh,
Yep, yep, yep.
so it was fourth quarter, 30 seconds left on the clock. I mean, Amari Williams seemed to get upset. Joshua Dickson caught the touchdown. Good touchdown, by the way, boy. But
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Amari Williams seemed to storm off the field. I mean, what were the consequences for that? I mean, he was showing flashes of selfishness, but I can see where it's coming from. I mean, he's definitely open a lot and not getting the kind of targets that he should definitely be getting. But I mean, the kind of selfishness to just storm off the field whenever your teammate just scored a touchdown. I don't, like what did coach do to him? Is
you
what I should
know,
really be asking.
uh, that was a private conversation between them, so I really don't know. I can give my opinion on it. Whenever we got someone showing like selfish behavior in the game of football, it's like it's not really honorable to the game. You know, I mean, sure you were open. You were open plenty of times, you know. Um, you know, but come on, bro. Like we won the game and I understand him. Trust me, I really do understand him because I wasn't always getting the ball and stuff like that. Like, as I was a transfer from Ole Miss, I wasn't always getting the ball. But like, if you aren't really contributing much, and you're selfish at the end of the day. First of all, being selfish on its own is just a terrible look on NFL scouts if you want to go pro. And storming the field, come on, bro. We got fans rushing the field after our big win. Like, you know how I heard he passed up a kid trying to get his autograph too. So that was kind of,
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't even know why he wanted his autograph. He had one reception. Why did he want his autograph is beyond me. But anyways, let's continue. So, I mean, I'm just, I'm just, I'm just in astonishment. I'm looking at the replay of the game, and you're a great DB, but your entire secondary is just, just full of talent. I mean, but it's also full of mistakes. Let's talk about the mistakes. I mean, you already know the talent, but mistakes wise, your safeties are just come on. Like what's going on with you? What's the communication between you and the safeties and the shorts? Like what's going on?
yeah. So there's been, plenty of, you know, there's been plenty of players, like as I should say, our secondary. There's been miscommunication on a lot of attempts, to like get stops and stuff like that. Coach tried to mix up the safety situation with moving Malik, moving Jay, and then when Josiah Kirk came back, he was playing a little bit of safety. I feel like what really came with the miscommunication is majority of our DBs were eventually safeties before. So I feel like that should be an excuse, coming from the defensive back of the year candidate. I feel like it should be an excuse to to let your man burn you always for the safety to play because the safety is there for its name. The safety is there for safety, you know. But sometimes the communication will come when our safety is say play underneath, and I got you over top and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just been a big miscommunication. I still think our secondary hasn't clicked yet, with our middle being targeted majority of the game. Now that most teams know that our middle is our weakest part, I feel like coach going to change it up. With a linebacker, maybe two. You know, hopefully, we figure out the problem because the game coming up is a very tough game and we cannot lose this game.
I mean, final question here. I mean, obviously a team's goal every year, win the national championship and get one of your players the Heisman. But there's more to that than just winning the Natty and winning the Heisman. I mean, there's definitely more. I mean, in football, you take it step by step, week by week, day by day, hour by hour, practice by practice. But
Yeah.
in this game, like you said yourself, it's gonna be tough. What are you guys doing every day, every hour, like every time you wake up? What are you guys doing to prepare for this game?
You know, uh, it's a team effort. Like I said, I can't speak for everyone's daily routine when they wake up, but I'm pretty sure a majority of us is waking up, getting to class on time, doing our work. School comes first, and then after that is just grind time. We're just grinding. Like no days off. We can't sleep. We can't even let up for a single moment because the teams like the schedule only gets tougher from here on out. Um, so I think what coach is really doing with us is mentally preparing us for the game and for the playoffs because college football playoffs ain't nothing like it. It's win or go home. You don't always get a second chance at something like this. The majority of us are seniors and juniors, so for the seniors, this is their last year. I mean, none of us redshirted. So for the seniors, this is their last year, last chance to go out there and get a national championship, because some of us got the draft coming up, and I feel like mentally preparing yourself is the best thing we could do right now.
Uh Good answers. Just good answers overall. I mean, this is Project from the Colorado Buffalo Media Team signing off.